Hello YouTube. I've been studying Russian and previously Soviet and prior to that Russian Imperial, UFO of course, and USO encounters. And I've written a book and my co-author was Philip Mantle about the Russian USOs encounters, unidentified submersible objects. Very interesting, and I hope to see it published in more languages such as Chinese, Korean one day, languages like German. I think there's going to be a publication, simply because the more people find out about it, the more exchange of information comes about, and we have so many navies on the face of this earth, and they see a lot of strange things. So my emphasis was on the Russian Navy, let's call it that, and their encounters. And the book was actually translated and published in Russia as well in 2016. So maybe one day we'll have Ukrainian publication and also publication in Japanese, and I'm sure we'll find out more. More important is this: some of the cases that I studied, there's a very interesting one that I've learned about not that long ago. It's about a Soviet submariner who received a telepathic signal and rescued the crew. Now the question is, who sent that message to him? You know, the work of submariners, to be frank, is very difficult. Every time they go out to sea, they don't know whether they'll come back or not. The psychological state of the men who are aboard the submarine should always be normal. After all, in case of an unforeseen situation, every second and cold calculation can save lives. It is because of this that in 1982, Semyon Pogorelov, being a submariner with an experience of 6 years, was suspended for life from further service on any submarine. The fact is that in 1981, while on duty, he reported that he heard women's voices, female voices. Unknown people asked Semyon to change the course of the submarine. The problem was that there was an unexploded naval mine on the course of the route and their itinerary. Where it came from there, no one knew. Naturally, the other people aboard the submarine, officers, refused to believe the words of Semyon and continued the planned movement. At some point, the voices turned to shouting. Pogorelov fell to the floor and began to scream too. He wanted to pierce his ear membranes so as not to hear the monstrous yell. In his ears, it was horrible. The commander of the submarine, at the very last moment, asked to change course a little, and the mine was successfully sailed away in a few centimeters, so they just bypassed it just by a few centimeters. Semyon Pogorelov's attack in his head was over. He lost consciousness. There was silence on the submarine. Everyone realized that the man had just saved their lives, albeit this way, the way that he expressed himself. Upon returning to land, the commander reported on what had happened. The mine was indeed found and defused. How it got there, it was not possible to find out. Despite the seemingly rescue of the crew, the Soviet submariner was sent to the medical commission, where he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Naturally, his career was ruined. Semyon was kept in a mental hospital for 2 years, after which he was released. The former submariner had to go through hell for at least somebody to believe him. And by the way, it would be worth studying this phenomenon better. Well, as far as I know, this situation is not unique. Reportedly, and I'm speaking about Russian sources, in 1942, a 23-year-old German submariner experienced the same thing, and in 1966, a French expert heard women's screams while on duty. There are 3 similar cases described in American history. Scientists have only recently paid attention to such a phenomenon and associated with the individuality of the psyche of people. So again, I don't know about Western cases. It's only what I heard. Now, in Russia, this is what's called chuyka. Someone pushes us or conversely forces us to abandon certain steps and itineraries. For some, this is guardian angels. For some, it is chuyka. For the others, it is generally the voice of God. The most important thing is to hear and see the signs and hints. But not everyone is given this opportunity. So we continue to study the supernatural and express the boundaries of our capabilities, and we do not stop there. So this is all very interesting, and the phenomenon of USOs is incredible. I'll add some URLs to my videos, playlists about the USOs in the former Soviet Union and the Russian Empire before, and modern Russia. Also, there are cases from Ukraine and so forth. And in my book, I have so many Russia's USO secrets, and it was a labor of many years, very, very diligent research, and of which I'm proud. And you can see my presentations on television about this and my lectures, and I intend to continue this phenomenon because we know so little about our oceans and what's down there. So I appreciate your attention to my work, and if you can support my research, you'll find the links in the description to this video, and I will bring you more interesting stories that my research continues and I get from the former Soviet Union, and hopefully more attention will be paid to this phenomenon throughout the world. Thank you. You please like my video and tell others about my channel.